recently we helped this e-commerce brand recover over $100,000 in sales from abandoned checkouts in just 2 months. In this video I'm gonna show you how you can do the same exact thing for your e-commerce brand. So let's get right into the video. First of all, just some kind of proof that we've actually recovered over 100k in sales. The screenshot below is the same account. The difference comes from the attribution. So in this case, it's showing the revenue that was generated during these 2 months, but in this screenshot, it shows the revenue generated from emails that went sent out in this period. So for example, when the last email was sent out at the very end of May, but it made the sale in June, it's still showing it up here. That's why the difference between the two. But yeah, let's get right into the video itself. So the structure itself is pretty simple, nothing complicated. You need to remember that this is not abandoned cart flow, this is abandoned checkout flow. If you want to set up abandoned cart flow on Shopify, it requires you to set up custom snippet code by installing like Trigger. So you can do it by watching my other video. It's gonna take you maximum like 8 minutes, so make sure you check it out because you can just double the revenue that you make from this flow. But in general, the trigger for this flow is gonna be checkout started, which is quite self-explanatory. Make sure that for filters, you exclude people who were in this flow in the last 5 days, and you also exclude people who have purchased from you after starting this flow, because you don't want to send this flow to people who started the checkout and then made the purchase to send them all the flow, because that would just annoy them. So we really want to avoid that, hence this filter. For the first email in the flow, I just suggest you A/B test the time delay between 30 minutes to 2 hours, and then you can take the winning variation and test it against 1 hour just to get the best results. It's gonna get you just the best ROI. In some cases, it might be that the 30 minutes is just taking or generating technically more sales because it's like faster attribution. But that's why you need to split test. For this brand, actually 2 hours were working better. That's why once again you need to test it, and that's mainly because the AOV was higher. Like that's also why the revenue per recipient is so high. The first email itself is just like a simple cart reminder. So you really want to tell these people like, hey, this is where you left during the checkout. And ideally, if you have if you're a one product store, you can easily just throw the product in the actual email. But for all other stores, I would recommend you have some kind of dynamic section from Klaviyo where you show them the actual products that are in their cart. It works very well because people can just visualize what they're looking at and what's left in their cart. Now, the quick thing about this email is that if you're offering free shipping, it's really cool if you tell them about it. Like you have free shipping on these items, for example, and then show the products in their cart, because paying shipping is one of the main reasons why people leave the cart. Once again, if it's free, make sure you highlight it and show it to them. And I don't know if you're running 1-page checkout or 3-page checkout, but there are a lot of cases where someone can be running, like regardless the option essentially, if someone doesn't fill out their address, they won't know what's the shipping cost, and it's probably gonna be a big chunk of people that abandon the cart. That's why you want to mention it. But if people have to pay for your shipping in your store, then just don't mention it, like no need to. Then you wait between 12 hours to 1 day. Once again, depending on how aggressive you want to be with this flow, we found 12 hours to be working very well, even though you might think that's too quick or whatever, but it's not really the case, because if you think about it, if someone was browsing, let's say at 8 a.m. And they received the first email at 10 a.m. but then they didn't recover, you're gonna target them at like 10 p.m. which is technically the same day, so their buying intent is still high. You're catching them at the right time, but it's not the next day, right? So if your products are being bought by people that are making like emotional decisions, I mean technically that's everyone, but if it's like a product that is very, very sought after, then this might work very, very well. And same goes the other case, like if someone was shopping around the evening, so let's say 6 p.m, they're gonna get the cart reminder at 8 p.m. and then the next follow-up email at 8 a.m, which is the next day. And they had some time to think this through, take a sleep and then just decide whether they want to buy it or not. In the email itself, you want to give them some kind of incentive. So if you don't offer free shipping, you can give them free shipping. You can also give them some kind of free gift, percentage discount, dollar value discount, whatever that might be, some kind of incentive to make them push towards the purchase and get them to buy. Plus, you also want to briefly talk about your USP, which mainly is gonna be what makes you different or why someone should buy from you. You can do it very easily just using bullet points, because then they're very easy to read, to digest, and you're also giving across your point, which is talking about your USP itself. For email number 3, I usually suggest 1 day time delay. Since this part has been a little bit more aggressive, you wanna be cool it off for 1 day and just show some social proof. People usually have an objection of, is it gonna work for me? Does it actually work? Can I trust this brand, and so on? So just show a bunch of reviews. If you have multiple products, show 1 review per product. But as it's gonna be, dynamic blog essentially, you wanna pick some reviews that are actually mentioning objections, like I was concerned if it's gonna work, or I didn't know if it's for me, stuff like that, just to remove this objection and make sure that people trust your brand and they're like, okay, if others had the same results, I'm gonna be like them and had the same results with the product as well, so I'm gonna buy it. And then remind them about the incentive. Important part in this email is not leading with the incentive, it's leading with the social proof part, but still mentioning the incentive. So for example, the header could be thousands of moms like you trusted brand, and then subheader could be something like your 5% off cart awaits, and then call and shop now, right? Something like that, pretty simple. And then you wait 1 day, and I mean, in some cases, we also like to do the split that we do for email 2, which is testing 12 hours versus 1 day for email number 4. Once again, if you want to be quite more aggressive with the flow, just pick the short time delays, and I mean like 30 minutes, 12 hours 1 day, and 12 hours, and then see how it goes. In some cases it works really well, like being super aggressive with the flow, and it kind of makes sense to be aggressive with it, since people are at the checkout stage, which is the closest one to making the purchase. So again, you wait between 12 hours to 24 hours. And email number 4, for this one, we usually like to do plain text emails, even for the sake of deliverability. If they didn't get any of the emails in the primary tab, for example, they got all of them into promotions tab, this one will most likely land in the primary tab, since plain text emails have better deliverability overall. And in the email itself, you just want to remind them about the incentive and the items in the cart as well. Bonus points if your products are actually limited, if you're running any kind of clothing brand with drops or anything like that, or jewelry or whatever else, like limited edition of your supplement, for example, you really want to highlight it in the email as well. Like, hey, your card may expire, which is one thing, but then someone else might buy this product, and if we run out of the stock, for example, we won't be restocking it. And don't create fake urgency, because then you can come off as like cheap brand if someone checks out after a week and the product is still there. But for example, if you have like a countdown on the page of how many SKUs are left, anything like that, you can mention it. And then for the incentive itself, you want to be like, hey, your incentive is gonna also expire in 12 hours or 24 hours. In some cases, we also like to do like 4 or 6 hours, because it builds even more urgency, since they don't have like full day to make the decision. They need to do it kind of on the spot, which works also well, because it's not like pushing them to do it. But if someone is serious about pulling the trigger and actually buying from you, this email is gonna be enough to push them to do it. And yeah, this is honestly the structure that we use for all of our clients. In some cases, we may add 1 or 2 emails, but in general, this is a rough framework that always works well. And yeah, you can definitely set it up for your brand, and I'm sure it's gonna crush it and work extremely well. But if you're not sure how to prepare each email and don't really know how to do it, or just don't have time to because you're busy with your other tasks like running ads, managing inventory, and so on, you can book a call with me using the link in the video description down below. It's gonna be a call directly with me. I'm just gonna have a quick chat with you, and then if we're fine fit for each other, we can start working together and get you great results. But if you're not there yet, you can check my other video where I show you the case study how this e-commerce brand made over $1.4 million in sales in just 2 months. Thank you for watching, see you in the next one, bye!